I started buying records about 16 years ago, just as I left school. I started doing gigs out about 11 years ago. Started off first gig when I went to work in Ibiza, which was in 2000, and yeah, just carried on since then.
For me, like, I sort of got into it about 10 years ago when I was in my early teens, sort of 12, 13, starting to just go to record shops and pulling out random records from the bargain bins, which is all I could afford, and then started sort of realising that it was something that I seriously wanted to do pretty much from the start, and then probably started playing out in bars and clubs from like 15, 16 onwards, so good sort of 6, 7 years really.
Derek Carter, that was really someone who first got me into that sort of sound, and then I've personally backtracked a lot with the sort of music that I collect, you know, back to, you know, mid-80s really. That's just through me more so collecting records rather than buying records to play. And influences are your Fingers Inc. and your Tracks records and your things like that. That was really my first insight into Chicago house.
For me, it was through Adam. Like, Adam's an extensive record collection. I sort of then started to listen to all this sort of music, and it's only a small thing, but one of the biggest inspirations for me was the Maestro documentary on Larry Levan and the Paradise Garage, and you know, something so small, you know, opened me up to something so big. And same with Adam. Then off the back of that, I then backtracked, you know, and then started to find out for myself, you know, different styles of DJs, so on and so on.
I'm looking forward to seeing Rob Mello, someone who I think is always consistently interesting to watch, and you never really know, you know, what you're going to sort of get from him. I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. C. That's just off the back of seeing him in Miami this year was amazing. Really played good. And I always like to see James and Giles play as well. I always think they play a really nice sort of varied selection of house music from over the years.
We got thrown out in Glasgow, didn't we?
No, actually no, we didn't get. We nearly got thrown out.
We got thrown out, but then we got let back in because we were the DJs.
Yeah, that was actually for just doing legal drugs, which
yeah, it was actually legal drugs.
It was embarrassing, but anyway.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend left to just go and drop my bags off in the car. On the way back in, I had some shorts, and you know, I was obviously with my girlfriend and stuff, so whatever. But you know, the doorman was like, you know, stopped me on the way in and was like, you know, asking what was in my shorts. Look, it basically looked like I had something down there, but I'd obviously just been having some personal time, so whatever. And yeah, it ended up in like us, you know, debating for 5 minutes. You know, it was just one of those that he was like, he didn't want to say it, but it was like the only way I was going to get back in to give Adam his keys back was to prove that I didn't have it down there. So I had to basically show him that there wasn't, and then I actually got in because obviously I had it down there. So that was a funny occasion to be refused club entry, and that is pretty much getting back to basics, I'd say.
I'd like to say 12 inches, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, 12-inch records are like what I
good black 12-inch all day.
It's massive generally, if I'm honest. I think there's barely anywhere without a scene at the moment. I dare say America recently has probably gone more down the commercially kind of dubstep route, but it's still a huge scene everywhere. Australia, New Zealand, Middle East even, there's a scene in Dubai, Bangkok, China, the whole lot. It's great everywhere. The crowds are the same everywhere. Brilliant, you know. It's very energetic music, and the crowds seem to still enjoy it, you know, year after year. For me, I started DJing in my bedroom at about 13 years old and got kind of really into the probably the later acid house, rave kind of music, and down that route I started going out to places like Back to Basics in Leeds at the age of 16 when I really shouldn't have been going. Managed to get in, had, you know, first night there, one of the best nights of my life. Explored the basement, which is where in the pleasure rooms, their old venue, they used to put drum and bass on, and that's kind of the route that I went down. I still go out and absolutely love and adore house and techno. I just think within house music, people started going for kind of the you know, the harder techno-y sounds, kind of more your R&S records type stuff back then. And people started getting really into like your garagey, you know, Todd Terry type stuff, and some people started, you know, experimenting more with drums and kind of started to get sounding like breakbeat. And then you had, you know, people like Fabio, Groove Rider, Top Buzz, who started playing the early rave stuff, and that's just kind of the route that I went down, really. The lineup generally is pretty incredible, but Clive Henry definitely. Robert Owens, I just think his voice is absolutely amazing. I've never heard him DJ, but I've heard he's a really good DJ as well, so I'm looking forward to hearing his set. I do like 07. Who else have we got on now? Mark Farina as well. And of course on the drum and bass side, D-Bridge, who I think he's playing before me actually. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. They're the main ones I'm really looking forward to. I'd say the main inspirational nights in Leeds for me were definitely, and still will be for a lot of people, Back to Basics, definitely on the house music tip. I can't think of a night that's been through kind of the toughness that any genre of music has seen over the years and lasted it all out so well, and is still getting people in, you know, down at the club on a weekly basis. They've moved venues so many times, and the night still works, so it's a massive credit to Dave and everybody that works in the night.
Projects-wise, there's a few interesting things in the pipeline for throwing shapes, but we're kind of going to just keep those hidden until they're ready to go. But yeah, radio show-wise, we've got guests coming up: Eddie Leader, PBR Street Gang, Don Capello, The Revenge, a few interesting things like that. Gigs-wise, I'm playing at XOY in London next week, and got Lime Tree Festival, playing with Soul Clap in August, so a few nice things I'm looking forward to. I started playing about when I was about 18, so that was about 10 years ago. Yes, that time I was at 18, just doing after parties sort of around Leeds.
This will make you move. I came to spread this message and let the music.
And then I started my own night called Mad Hatters, which went for 5 years, and had quite a load of guests on there that were my inspirations when I was young, and then went on from there to get Gigs at Basics, which was played there about 8-9 years ago, and so I just moved forward from there, really, just now I'm a full resident of Basics, and get a few other gigs around about the country.
It's the music. It's the music.
Chicago's definitely Marshall Jefferson, obviously Ron Allen, Larry Heard, Bob Marley, definitely that's number one. Just, I don't know, he was I've had him all the time. He's just, his message, his music, it's just, just appeals to me the most. And, I just think universally he's definitely the most respected artist for me.
It's the music, y'all.
But then people like Bjork, David Byrne, Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones, like, going on to Tribe Called Quest, people like that, loads. I think that really pigeonhole myself musically, all sorts of inspirations.
I need to feel my music each and every day. It's the music.
I think 10 Years of Secret Sundays, that's not to be missed really. Rob Mello's always on point, one of my favourite DJs, really sound guy. Basics, obviously.
It's the music, yo.
Yeah, and then we've got Rob James, Richie Ahmed, really into what they're doing at the moment. To be honest, everyone on the lineup really is just huge quality. Looking forward to it. Massively, at the moment, especially there's kind of this old school resurgence. Sounds like, it's with the Virgo 4 Resurrection EP that's just been released. That's all like 86 to 90. The whole sound has just gone back towards kind of the roots of house music. Everything's, that's what you call trendy at the moment, which works for me. That's the stuff I've always loved, the initial thing that got me into it. And I think everything's kind of come full circle. Again, the Chicago sound's massive at the moment. People are trying to imitate that, not always successfully, but when they do, it's good. It's a good sound, and for me, it strikes a lot more of a chord than say Minimal when that was kicking around. It's not particularly my bag, so yeah, I'm happy with that.
It's the music, it's the music, it's the music, the music, it's the music, the music, it's the music.
It's not what you got, it's what you do with it. But yeah, it's fun.
It's the music, y'all. It's the music.